She stops and goes silent. Her head goes down to her chin against her chest. 3 seconds later, she lifts her head up and her eyes are completely red and her pupils are pitch black. And now she's just staring at me with this smile on her face. Welcome to And So I Thought. Real stories, hard lessons. I'm Tony Delo, and I share real stories so you don't have to learn the hard way. Now, let's get into it. This story first takes place when I was younger. Another instance where I was visiting my cousins in Virginia. So this was back when I was 8. This is the one that really shaped my outlook. Like, this is careful what you wish for type shit. Like, never in my life will I ever, 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 ever want something so obsessively, or not even obsessively, but like, I would never like pray for something that I want to happen so excessively the way I did, because you don't know what you be praying for sometimes. And that's exactly what happened to me. This lady that was friends with my aunt, and she brought her kids. But it was like this girl and this boy. And I remember the girl, I was just like, wow, like, she's beautiful. I wish she could be my girlfriend. Like, that would be cool. I do the casual, we talking, whatever, little things. But, like, it's not really, again, I'm young, but, like, I'm not really getting nothing. Like, she ain't really interested in, like, talking to me like that. Because, again, we're kids, but, like, you could tell when somebody doesn't, not, yeah, she just wasn't. So I'm like, all right, yeah, that's cool. So that night, I remember this so vividly. Like, I'll never forget this. I remember I sat up and I just prayed. I prayed to God. I was like, please, God, like, I want this girl to like me. And, I want to be her boyfriend. And, like, just please, 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 like, let this work out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, whatever. Went to sleep. Didn't think nothing of it. I wake up in the morning. Whole vibe is, like, different. I believe because it was early in the morning breakfast. She's like asking where I'm at because I got up late. I'm just like, oh. And like, it just became increasingly obvious that she liked me now. And I'm just like, well, okay, maybe, like, she did. And I'm just, I might have just been young and just not. Cause kids act like, nah, I don't like you, blah blah blah. But it wasn't even no vibe. Like, it wasn't. She didn't even say nothing like that. So that's why it was weird. But anyway, she's just like, yeah, da da da. So she just became like obsessed with me in like a day or two, and I just remember eventually, like, I had to hide from her. I literally had to hide from her. I had, like, there was an instance where, I can't even remember. It was probably maybe a week they stayed because, yeah, that makes sense if you came from out of town. But anyway, so, like, I remember, like, one of the days I'm in the shower, bro. She comes into the bathroom, opens the door, and pulls back the shower curtain and just stares at me. And I'm just like, bro. And what made it even worse was, like, my mom was walking through the hallway and just seen her staring at me with the shower curtain pulled back. And my mom was like, what the So then she starts tripping. And I'm just like, oh my God, this girl was not trying to fuck with me at all. Like, at all. And now she's just like trying to see my dick in the shower. Like, what the this is insane. I think that ended up cutting the trip short. Like, they had to separate us. It was like a whole thing. Everybody knew she liked me. My mom was like this weird ass little bitch. Man, and I'm just like, oh my God, I prayed for this. And I'm just like, oh my God, is this why? Because I intently played for this. Like, I wanted this. Like, This is what I wanted. I wanted this so she could be my girlfriend. And now it's not what I wanted because her personality wasn't what I was expecting it to be. And I'm just like, bro, this is insane. And I just remember like hiding out and then being so happy she left. And I just remember from that moment, like my cousins and everybody's just like, that was weird. And I'm just like, yeah, bro. Like, I don't even think I told them at first. Like, I think I told them now they know years later. But like, I'm just like, I will never, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. You just don't know what you be praying for. I guess in the context of wanting a relationship with someone, I'll say that I'll be a little more clear because it's not wrong to pray about certain things like that. So, fast forward a few years later, I still didn't learn my lesson. So, this was back when I was 19. I dated this girl, Brittany. She was a baddie, foreign Ethiopian. Back home, she was in a gang. Everybody wanted to talk to her, including me. So, one night I closed my eyes and wished for this girl to like me. But this time, I left out God because I remember what happened the last time. So I figured everything would be different this time around. So I thought. So literally the next day, I get a friend request on MySpace. Because this was back when MySpace was popping back then before Facebook. I'm like, oh, this is weird. Did it actually work? So, I'm thinking to myself. So I just accepted the friend request. And she messaged me immediately. She's like, what's up? How you doing, handsome? And I'm just like, damn, like there ain't no misinterpreting that. So I'm telling her, I'm doing good. How you doing, beautiful? And she just responded with a smiley face and left me on red. Then I'm confused as hell, like, all right. Said, but little did I know, this was just all part of her plan. Unbeknownst to me, she had been beefing with one of my classmates and she wanted to get back at him. But what she didn't expect was to end up liking me for real. So then I found out she had kids, and I'm an understanding person, and I'm not really one to discriminate, even if she did have two kids. But she also had a baby daddy that was crazy and in the same gang from her country. And then later I found out he was the one that beat her into the gang. So this was probably like the third red flag. So I'm like, it's cool. We'll figure it out. So I thought. Anyway, we dated for a while. It didn't take me long to figure out, oh, this girl's crazy. She would always show up in my job in that time period when I was working at McDonald's. And it got to the point where people were like, your girl here, dog. And everyone knew she was crazy. But at the same time, people were like, well, can't really blame him because she's fine. But even that started to get old too. So I started to check out the relationship and it became more physical than anything. So she ain't like that. So then she started to cheat on me. And how I found out was we got into an argument about me liking a girl's photo. So she's like, well, that's why I effed one of her exes. And I'm just like, well, that's not the same thing. So, but thanks for telling me. So then I broke her phone, and it was like one of them flip phones. Cause again, this is like 2010. So I just snapped it in half, and then she made me feel bad because she started crying. And was like all her pictures of her family and friends was in that phone. And then my mom got mad at me for retaliating. So I had to buy her a new phone. And I'm just like, all right, whatever, dog. Like, I'll buy you a new phone, and then I'm done with you. Like, it's over. So I thought I took her to the store. She's being picky with the phones, and I'm just like, at this point, you get what you get because you lucky I'm even buying you a phone. So boom, we get the phone, leave out. My mom drops her off at her parents' house, and that was supposed to just be the end of it. Then 2 weeks later, she contacts me and she tells me that she's pregnant, and I'm just like, but the problem is, I already started talking to this other girl, and I'm thinking fresh slate. I just dodged this crazy girl. So I thought. So now I gotta tell my mom, and my mom's like, "Please, God, no." And then I tell the girl that I'm talking to. She's like, "I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm having a kid now." So, and luckily, she was understanding about it, and she's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Well, we got a co-parent, or if things get bad, then I'm gonna just take custody of it because she already got two anyway." So then, fast forward, a couple weeks go by. So then 2 weeks go by, and it's that girl's birthday, and she wants me to come hang out with her and the baby for her birthday. And I'm just like, I really can't do that because I got a girlfriend now. And she's like, well, it's not about us, it's for the baby. So, I agreed to it. And then she had got a room for her birthday. So I'm like, I can't tell nobody about this. So I'm like, all right, I'll come through, but I ain't staying because, like, that's crazy. So I thought, so I get dropped off by one of my homeboys at this hotel. I text her, like, I'm here. She says, I'm in room 104. I walk into the building, start heading up the stairs, and I'm thinking to myself, I should not be here right now. But I still just proceed to walk down the hall. The door opens up immediately, like before I could even walk up to the door and knock. She's like, yay, you're here. And then I don't really say nothing because, like, this is just awkward situation for me right now. Come in. And then so I walk in and I see this big round pink cake on the table. And she's like, you gonna have some cake with me? I'm like, I guess I could have a slice. So she gave me a slice of cake. It was pretty good, I ain't gonna lie. Could have been dangerous. I didn't really think about it till now. Then after she started trying to get closer and like be all flirty with me, and I'm like, hold up, like nah, I can't do that. Then all of a sudden, she just gets upset and then starts acting all suicidal. I don't want to live. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live. I don't want to be here anymore. Please, 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 just take me. Just take me. And she's just like screaming this in the hotel room. So I'm just like, yo, like you gotta chill. Like it is not that deep. And then she just keeps screaming like, please, 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 just take me. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And then I'm just like, bro, this is where shit just gets crazy. Like, and I swear, right hand, bro. I swear, right hand, right hand. She stops and goes silent. Her head goes down to her chin against her chest. And then, like 3 seconds later, she lifts her head up and her eyes are completely red. And her pupils are pitch black. And now she's just staring at me with this smile on her face. And I'm just like, why do you look like that? Like, what's wrong with you? And she just stares at me and don't say nothing. And she just stares at me and smiles. And then I'm just like, man, I'm about to leave. And then all of a sudden,
I said I wanted to die. I begged for them to take me. God doesn't answer, but you know who does.
and she just smiled, bro. Like bloodshot eyes, black pupils. And I'm just standing there like, nope, I'm out. And I ran out the hotel room. I started running down the hallway. Like I didn't realize this at the time, but the security is watching me on camera. And I'm running through the hallway, trying to get to the stairs, and all of a sudden I hear, wait, come back. So now I realize, like, damn, like I left my phone in the room. I'm like, I really don't have a ride out of here, and I can't really contact nobody, and it's too far of a walk back to the crib. So turn back around and walking back to the room, and I eventually make it down the hallway, and the door's still open, and she's just standing there staring with a smile on her face. Like, I don't know what to do right now. And she's like,
Come back in.
now I'm like, I kind of have to because my phone's in there, but she's also blocking the doorway. So I'm just like, you need to chill out. Like, I don't know what's going on, but you need to just chill. And she's like,
I told you.
and then just goes back to smiling. And I'm just like, oh my, like, now I was already freaked out, but now I'm just sitting there terrified. Like, what do I do right now? And then so I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I can just push through there and grab my phone and run out. And then she's like,
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
and I'm like, I didn't even say anything. I thought this. So now she's reading my thoughts, bro. I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, she got my kid. She crazy, possessed. I, I'm stuck in this area. Nobody knows where I'm at because I'm not supposed to be here in the first place. I'm just like, dog. Then all of a sudden, here comes security. They start walking down the hall, and she notices it too. So I'm looking at her, and then I'm looking back at security. I'm looking at her, and I'm looking back at security. And then I look at her, and she shakes her head from left to right, closes her eyes for about 3 seconds, puts her head down, eyes go back pure white. Pure white, like eggshell white. What are you doing out there? Why are you standing in the hallway? Like, what you mean, why am I standing in the hallway? You were just on some whole other shit. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Then security reaches the room finally. Is there a problem in here? Now I'm just like, man, like this is such a bad look. I'm in this hotel, running around. This girl's here. They gonna think some whole other shit. I'm just so I just say no. I just went to get something and then, I'll come back. And they're like, well, we seen you running down the hallway. So we're just checking on the situation. And now I'm like, like, I didn't know they seen that. I have no evidence to explain any of this now because she's normal. So I'm like, nah, it's okay. And I can't say what really happened because they just look at me like I'm crazy. And they're like, all right. And they just walk away. They make it down the hall a little bit. She's like, are you going to come back inside? I don't know why you're standing in the hallway. So I go back inside. Everything's normal now. You don't know why I was in the hallway? No. You don't remember what just happened? No. What happened? And now I'm just completely flabbergasted because what the hell just happened? I know exactly what I saw, but she has no clue. So then I grabbed my phone and tried to text a ride, but now they're not available. And I'm not technically supposed to be here in the first place. My girl and my mom don't know. So now I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna just sit on the couch, I guess. And she kept trying to get me to sleep, sleep in the bed. And I'm just like, nah, I'm cool. I'm just gonna stay on the couch. So then she cuts on George Lopez on the TV and starts watching that. And I'm so exhausted because I don't know what the hell just happened. All this fear and adrenaline just surging through my body, and now I don't know if it's safe. So I got no way out, and I'm just stuck. Eventually, she finally just accepted that, this is about the baby and not us. I ended up passing out on the couch, but like I kept waking up every couple hours because the heater in the room kept making weird noises on top of it. So it was cool. Like there was no further incidences after that. I ended up falling asleep. I wake up in the morning like super early at 7 a.m. and I text my friend David and I'm like, hey, can you take me home if I walk to work? He's like, well, why you walking here? But yeah, I got you. I'll explain it when I get there. So I sneak out the room, close the door, and walk down the hallway, go down the steps, leave out the building, and start walking down the main road. And it takes me about an hour and a half to finally make it to the job. And the whole time, I'm just reflecting on everything that happened. Like, I don't even know if anyone is even going to believe me because that was just the most wildest experience. I get to the restaurant, Walk in and I see David. He's on breaks. And I didn't even say nothing. Bro, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't even know. And I'm just shaking, like I'm visibly distraught. Like, and so I take a deep breath and then I proceed to tell him the story. And then I guess by the end, he's like, nah, I believe you, bro. I ain't never seen you like this. This is crazy. And I'm just quiet, still shaking after, like, I'm still processing all this. Like, this is just insane. Man, you gotta stop messing with these crazy girls, bro. And I'm like, I know, never again. So eventually, she started going out and drinking and smoking. And she had started talking to this other guy from her country who just moved here. And so my mom was like, I'm normally against this, but we might need to just pay for the abortion because this isn't going to work out. So we sent her the money, and I found out later that she kept the money and didn't use it. For that, she bought a bunch of clothes to keep going out, and then she used it on her other kids. In the end, the guy from overseas that she was talking to didn't like that she was keeping the baby, so then he paid for it, and then that was the end of that story. So I thought, so yeah, like, careful what you wish for, bro. Sometimes it ain't. Sometimes they leave you on red for a reason. It'd be a blessing in disguise. If I would have known, I would have. So what did I learn? Careful what you wish for. Sometimes getting exactly what you want is the worst thing that can happen to you. Be honest. Have you ever gotten exactly what you asked for and wished you hadn't? Next week, episode 8, Birthday Beatdown. My 10th birthday. Started out as one of the best days of my life. By the end of the night, not so much. Stay tuned for next week's lesson. Got your own story where you thought something was going to happen, but then it turned out a completely different way? Send it to me at the And So I Thought podcast on Instagram. I'm Tony D'Lo, entrepreneur and the host of the And So I Thought podcast. Thanks for listening. See you next week.